Namaste. I'm Claire and Ritual Woman. I wanted to reintroduce myself as we might know each other already, but some of you are new, and tell you a little bit about my journey and how Ritual Woman came to be. So I was always interested in the mind-body connection, interested in psychology and health and well-being, the body, physical movement, dance, all different types of exercise, and how the mind and body work together. I knew from a very young age that I wanted to do something a little bit different when I grew up. And I allowed myself to follow my own path. And so that journey started for me probably when I was about 5 years old. My grandmother was really into yoga and meditation. She used to meditate every day in her room on her bed for an hour at noon. And that really inspired me, that she would always hold space for herself. And she practiced yoga and Tai Chi. And I also practiced yoga starting at about 5 years old with my mother. Yoga wasn't even popular then. She was going to a community class in the evening, and she would allow me to go with her and maybe bring some materials for me to draw and play with in the corner. But I very quickly started to wiggle my way into joining the class and participating in the asana or the poses. And I really, really, really enjoyed that, especially, of course, Shavasana. I practiced ballet for many years when I was a little girl. I was really into arts and crafts. I loved clay. I loved painting. I loved drawing. And as I grew older, when I was a teenager, then I started a little bit more movement. I joined longer 90-minute yoga practices at the local YMCA. I really, really enjoyed those. I found myself to be quite serious and introverted as a little girl, but I really, really loved those classes. And as I moved into high school, I found a really deep interest in modern psychology and the brain. And that became my focus for university. I went to the University of Tennessee, where I obtained a bachelor's in psychology. And instead of taking a minor, I still just continued to take upper level advanced psychology classes. I was very focused and very, very, very interested in psychology. While I was at the university, I started to combine my interests in both the mind and body. Pursuing the psychology degree, I was taking group fitness classes for myself, and then I decided that I also wanted to do that for work. So I became a group fitness instructor. I started teaching yoga, Pilates, combinations of both yoga and Pilates, weightlifting classes, abdominal classes. I even taught water aerobics, and also became a personal trainer. And I found this really fulfilling, knowing that this journey through our body isn't just the body, it's also the mind. So I started to combine the two, psychology and body movement, together in my sessions that I offered. After psychology and university, I again knew that I wanted to do something different. And I love teaching, teaching anything. And so I wanted to explore more of myself in the world, and I moved to Barcelona, Spain, and began being an English teacher. English is a second language. I loved my time there. It was so special. I made so many really unique, deep friendships with women from all over the world, and we quickly formed a group that really felt like family. I learned so much about how they live their lives, being from different countries, different recipes in the way that they ate their food, different customs and holidays. I was so inspired by the Catalan people, all of their rich culture and heritage and traditions. It seemed like almost every other day was a holiday. I think there were only 11 working days in September when I was there. And I was also really inspired by that. I was inspired by community and tradition and celebration being almost at the forefront of life. Whereas in America, I had found that work and responsibility and expectations seem to be really driving people. And that's something that I always questioned. After about a year in Spain, I returned to America and I lived in Nashville, again, where I'm from. And that was the job market crash. And it was very depressing. My brother helped me get a job as a public relations coordinator for a broadcast and cable company. And I'll share a little secret with you. I didn't even have a TV at that time. I didn't want to have a TV in my home because I didn't want subconscious programming in my brain. And it was around this time that I also started to pull away from the news, as I noticed people kind of consumed with it and often anxious and depressed. And there's a lot of other ways that I could receive information about the news, but I didn't need to make that my main focus. I enjoyed being a public relations coordinator. I was inspired to see how to use media, and I learned a lot about technology that was very advanced for me at the time. Completely different than anything that I had ever done and was really interested in, but I felt a little bit inspired that on some small level my brain could understand these complicated systems, and my brain could also work in new ways. I also found a lot of things at that job that I didn't like the way they treated the people and maybe some of the expectations they had of me. And that was one of the first times that I really claimed my power and decided to walk away. Walk away from the salary, health insurance, 401k, Roth IRA, everything that seemed so safe. And I even got to travel with this job. I was going to Las Vegas, Amsterdam, New York, Mexico. I was getting to travel all over the world, which I really loved. And it was hard to walk away because I was also stepping into the unknown, and I really had no idea if I could do things on my own and make it work. But I did it anyway. And I left that company. I moved to Philadelphia because at the time there weren't a lot of quality massage therapy programs in Nashville, and I felt that New York and kind of the areas around there were holding a higher caliber of information. And so I moved to Philadelphia and I pursued a massage therapy degree. But first I just took my stuff to Philadelphia and left it there, and then I flew to India for my first yoga teacher training. So I really started to claim myself at that time and my unique interests. I spent 30 days in Goa, India, doing yoga for 8 hours a day, learning all about the philosophy, practicing the asana, breath work, meditation. I really splurged on myself and allowed myself to receive all the healing services and Panchakarma treatments, learning about Ayurveda, the lifestyle, the rituals, the practice, the food, the body work. I was so inspired and also really tired. And I was about 25 at that time. It was really big for me to fly to India all by myself. And I'm also grateful that I had support from my family and my friends, even though I think it was way far out of their comfort zone, as it was also already a little bit out of mine. I was so inspired by my teacher, Lara Bauman of Quantum Yoga and Ayurveda. She has several books she's written, many documentaries on the BBC. I was just blown away. I went into hyper-focus mode and I couldn't stop studying and learning and practicing everything I could about yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, and all the health and body rituals. Learning about how to eat, food combining, what to eat, when to eat, and really syncing the body with the earth and living in this more harmonious way. I noticed a lot of changes in myself after that experience in education, and then I returned back to Philadelphia and pursued my massage therapy degree. I started teaching yoga all over town, still practicing at many of the yoga studios, and I would take the train up to New York and check out some of the studios there as they had kind of more of a progressive approach, bringing more quality and education to the US. This was at the very beginning of like the yoga wave. And then that's where I started to work for myself. I started my own company offering private yoga lessons, teaching classes, and massage therapy, blending both what I had learned from my massage therapy degree and everything I had learned about Ayurveda, yoga, hands-on adjustments, passive and active stretching, and all of the amazing treatments that Ayurveda has to offer. The two main takeaways that I took from Ayurveda was Shirodhara, or my take on that, the Indian scalp massage, where I blend lots of finesse and care and luxurious touch into a very oily scalp massage with gua sha tools and lots of neck stretching and face and shoulder massage. Another thing that was my takeaway was abdominal massage. I had received massage before in my life in America and also all over the world, but America, there's not a lot of touch on the belly. And then I also realized that I didn't even really touch my belly. And so I think that was a really beautiful highlight and educational experience. I felt so inspired by that, and I brought it into my practice. I've seen lots of kind of game-changing results with my clients from a more thorough approach to the body with massage and also yoga. I really enjoyed my time in Philadelphia. I probably experienced my second burnout, also working for myself as a young woman, trying to find the balance between work and play and building the foundation for my career. And I again allowed myself to have some fun and do it different. I love coffee so much, and I'm inspired by other cultures and food, to be honest. And in Philadelphia, I fell in love with this coffee shop in the old city in the art district called Cafe Olé. And there was this beautiful woman that worked there, and all of this nice Israeli food, and all of these beautiful, refined people that would go, people that had art galleries, bankers, lawyers, artists, business owners. I just felt so inspired by that community. And so I started working there. I started working there and taking my clients in the evening, and teaching yoga early morning and evening as well. I think that's one of the first jobs I ever had where I had to be somewhere at 6:30 a.m. And then I realized that I'm a morning person. I ate so much gluten and pastries while I was there. I learned how to make shakshuka, which I didn't even know what that was at the time, and lots of other incredible dishes. I met one of my best friends, Maddie, there. We worked together, and it was really just amazing. After that, I poured myself back into my business. I stopped working at the coffee shop when my business really grew. I started to take on continued education and other modalities for massage. Thai yoga massage, which I found really interesting. I started taking Reiki courses to work on energy healing. And I also became really interested in myofascial release. So as I continued to work, I continued to expand my knowledge base. And sometimes when I didn't have clients and I had free time, it was really important to me not to waste my time. And I became obsessive about researching the chakra system, energy work, affirmations, mantra for healing, meditation, colors and sounds associated with healing frequency, and food. Food and nutrients became kind of an obsession for me. If you're living in America or have visited America, you know why. So I just thought, like, why is this hard? What is actually healthy? Where do you get the vitamins and nutrients you need from food? How to combine food together so it digests properly and you have plenty of energy. I also fell in love with acro yoga at that time and aerial yoga. And as a gift, a boyfriend of mine bought me a whole aerial yoga setup so I could practice at home. And I was on that thing all the time, hanging upside down, stretching, and just finding new ways to move and open my body and my mind. Yeah, I found that really fun. I moved around several times in Philadelphia, and lived in some really magical places. And then that chapter came to an end eventually. And I decided to move home to be closer to my family. I had really missed them for those 4 or 5 years I was in Philadelphia. And I came back and I opened up and started my practice in Nashville. I introduced a lot of things to Nashville that weren't there at that time. Thai yoga massage, some of the meditations that I had learned, different ways to do yoga, full moon and new moon gatherings, other workshops and things that I had learned along my journey. I worked at a couple of yoga studios, and then I very quickly opened up my own business. And before I had my physical location, I used to offer classes at my house, and I would have like 20, 30 people show up, and we would practice in the yard. I had a really conservative neighbor that was an older woman, and she absolutely hated it. It was very interesting times. There's some different energy there in Nashville that maybe wasn't really right for me. So while I was in Nashville, I opened up my business again there, Lakshmi Ayurveda Nashville, inspired by the Hindu goddess Lakshmi of beauty and the home. And I expanded my offerings again, just challenging myself to share more of everything that I had learned and in my own unique way give what I had always wanted to receive. So I was offering Indian scalp massage, abdominal massage, I learned gua sha from my teacher, Cecily Braden, and Thai herbal poultice. So bags of herbs that are rolled over the body, over the meridians to kind of infuse the herbs in the body and increase healing and flexibility. Also on the face, I studied multi-reflexology, of course, to lift and sculpt the face, but also heal, working with traditional Chinese medicine, the internal body. And I did another Thai yoga massage course. And then I decided I also wanted to do my 500-hour yoga teacher training. So I followed my teacher again. I went to Sri Lanka, and there I dove even deeper into my practice. I thought that, 8 hours a day was a lot, but now we're looking at 12 hours a day for the 500-hour certificate. I met some incredible friends while I was there. I also enjoyed all kinds of different services and treatments and body work in Sri Lanka. I learned about the history. I learned about the Hindu mythology that is shared between Sri Lanka and India. And of course, the most beautiful beaches and amazing food. And I just had an epic, epic, epic time. After that, I started hosting retreats in Sri Lanka and Nicaragua. I hosted those for a few years. I created a program called Deepen Your Practice. So we were not just practicing yoga, but I had workshops on Ayurveda, discovering your dosha, body work was included, one-on-one coaching was included, and a lot of mythology and new moon and full moon manifestation and massive relief workshops, bonfires on the beach, dancing. It was really fun for me. It was a really fun and creative time. And my practice grew in Nashville, and I started to train and hire other women and bring them into Lakshmi. And it grew to such a beautiful place. And then I got married. That was quite a journey. I learned a lot about myself during that time. I fell in love. I learned a lot about relating to not just my own family, but someone else's family. And that journey also came to an end with a lot of lessons. I closed my practice in Nashville, and starting in 2019, that was my first time I came to Bali. I came for a yoga retreat with my friend Julie, who I had met at my 500-hour yoga teacher training. And it was all about opening the heart. And it was such a magical time. My friend Megan that I met in Philadelphia also joined me, and then we had a little tour around the island together. And that was such a special trip. And I knew the first time I came here that I should be here. But that was so big for me to think about leaving everything behind and moving across the world to Bali, that it took me a little while to let that kind of sink in. So I went back to America. I was still married at that time. And then I just couldn't stay away. I came back. I came back in 2020. And I came again alone. And I stayed here for about 6 weeks up until the pandemic, which is another story for another day. But I knew then that I wanted to be here. I knew then that my soul wanted me to be here, and I knew that I also had to move. So during COVID, many things happened for everyone all over the world. And in some ways that delayed my plans a little bit. But I went through the process of letting go of all the ideals I had, letting go of everything that I thought I should do, and really again started to return to myself and boldly claim myself. And so I started giving all my things away. And then I sold my car. And then I moved to Bali. And that has been the most incredible experience for me. My soul needs to be here. And if you've been to Bali, you know, she either chooses you and welcomes you with open arms, or she hands you everything you need to work on and she just pushes you right out. I had done a lot of personal work, not to say that I'll ever be finished. It's quite a journey, this life. But she welcomed me. She welcomed me with open arms, and everything that I had always wanted and things that I wondered, oh, is it ever possible? It just started happening. I started teaching yoga. I started offering trauma therapy at Pyramids of Chi. I started again offering my Manifest Your Dream Life guided meditation at Pyramids of Chi in a group setting and also online. I started offering lymphatic body work and energy work. I opened up my own practice. I found the most perfect villa for me. I've met incredible lifelong friends. I started hypnotherapy for the first time. I did services that I didn't even know existed, past life regression, different types of breath work. I was going to ecstatic dance like 5 times a week, sound healing, light and sound healing, and then I met my business partner. I met my business partner who had created a very special installation at Pyramids of Chi called Light and Sound Vibration. If you're interested in having a spiritual psychedelic experience, it's there, and you should have it. DMT is free, and it's active in your brain. Look it up online, watch Netflix about it, The Spirit Molecule. I had so many revelations during, I probably had 30 sessions there. I had so many revelations there about how to move forward with my life and ways that I could offer my gifts to the world. And after doing about maybe 10 of these sessions, I met my business partner. And it was just him and I. No one else showed up for the class, the light and sound vibration. And it was just him and I. And I realized at that time that he was the creator of the whole experience when he was offering to explain to me, you know, what we were about to do and things that may happen. I said, oh, you don't have to explain to me. I've already been here so many times. And then he asked me, well, what do you do? And I explained to him my healing work, body work, energy work, gua sha, and he said, I've been looking for someone like you. And so very soon after being here, maybe only a month in Bali, we joined together. We joined together and we have created some really special treatments with light and sound vibration. So I have a vibroacoustic sound healing massage bed with haptic speakers inside. He's a sound healing practitioner, so he's created for me theta brainwave music that instantly puts you into a state of meditation. And the music is in surround sound speakers by the head, but it's also fed directly into the table. So the frequency of the music is not only heard, but it starts to penetrate into the body, into the cells, and it brings a really profound state of meditation, possibly also a psychedelic experience. And together with that, I offer my services of energy work, healing touch, face and body gua sha, Indian scalp massage, abdominal detox massage, lymphatic drainage, and a new service that's coming out that you'll just have to wait and see. And that was so exciting for me. That was so exciting for me to expand my expression and create with someone else something far beyond what I could have ever done on my own. Although I did have a lot of knowledge and experience in kind of the electronic field, there was no way I was going to figure out how to build this table and make the theta wave brain healing frequency music. And so together, we've created this really beautiful offering. And that alone was really special for me. I was so grateful. And together, we worked for months and months and months to create the music so that it flowed exactly with the movements in my treatment, that certain frequencies were hit when I was working on certain places in the body to elicit a release and a certain type of emotion. And that would have been enough for me. And then all of a sudden, last year, around Valentine's Day, I received a message from him asking if I want to join him at Mandarin Oriental Hotel and Spa to offer my services. And of course I said yes. And so later on that year in June, we went and we had a 2-week residency along with Global Wellness Day, me offering lymphatic yin and other yoga classes. Together we did a sound healing and yoga nidra meditation, and they were so kind to let us completely take over one of the spa suites and put in our vibroacoustic sound healing massage table and also our vibroacoustic sound healing waterbed, and share our gifts with all the guests of Mandarin Oriental. That was an incredible experience. And also, that would have been enough for me. But they've invited us to come back and expand. And now we're moving into Hong Kong. And yeah, I think it's just really special and really important to listen to that still, quiet voice inside that kind of suggests and whispers, well, wouldn't it be nice if I could just... Had I not listened, I would be living a life that's completely not for me. The times that I had done that in the past, I was unwell. I didn't look like myself. I didn't feel like myself. I was unhappy. I was angry at myself for being unhappy. I wasn't the person that I wanted to be. And it's been a process. It's been a process of loosening up control and allowing myself to start to become her. But the more I do, the more I'm supported. And I think that's the biggest lesson that I've learned through this experience. And it's so nice to meet you guys in this way, and gals. It's really nice to be seen and to be heard and to be able to share my story. And I hope some of this resonates with you and inspires you. And it's really nice to share a little bit of myself in this way. Namaste.